What's up, guys? Let's talk helmet setup, specifically in the context of night vision. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of how I have my helmet set up for when I'm teaching courses. This is I try to do a really quick video on this of just giving you a little insight, and then you can ask questions. If that doesn't solve it, come out to a night vision course. We run them all over the country, and we can dive a little bit deeper onto why I chose what I did for a specific application, and if I was doing something else, why I might change some of those variables, right? But predominantly for teaching night vision courses, I chose a carbon bump helmet. So the first thing you need to do when you're picking a helmet is you have to select whether you want it to be ballistic, bump, or you can go in between there, which is the carbon bump. So carbon bump helmet is basically just a more robust version of a bump helmet, right? I chose that. I like some of the features that came on this carbon bump, got it for a good deal, which is kind of the main reason, but I could have went with the bump. But the overall arching theme on why I chose the carbon bump or a bump helmet was mainly because I was just trying to reduce weight. Obviously teaching courses, being on the range, you know, you're wearing this for long periods of time, and I can have a little bit less strain on my neck, then I'll take that, right? Which is why I chose to try to make the lightest night vision I could, right? So these are DTMVSs, which are pretty light, and then I had the RPO lenses, putting them even, reducing even more weight from them. So I was looking to set up the best setup, but also the lightest setup that I could for when teaching courses, right? So I didn't need ballistic protection, so obviously I didn't opt for that. So I went with a carbon bump, right? So you make that determination, right? If you can only afford one helmet and you want to have it to fit a bunch of different applications, right? Then you can go with a ballistic helmet. Or if you're not concerned about that, you can go with a bump helmet or go with something in between, like a carbon bump, right? So that's what I chose. This helmet is made by Revision, or at least it was. I believe they changed names, like Galveston or something like that now. But the type of the helmet is that came in. Phenomenal helmet, right? A couple of the features that I really liked about the Cayman, and there's the Ops Core SF, and there's a ton of helmets that come with these features, but these are the features that I'm looking for a helmet to have when I'm looking to set it up. Obviously, a lot of these features you can buy a helmet and then add these to, but you'll probably save a couple bucks if you just buy them with those features. So first off, select whether you want ballistic protection or not. Once you make that, then look for specific features for what you might be looking to do with your helmet. So we were talking about, obviously this video is about night vision related helmet setups. So I knew that I was going to want rails so I could mount different accessories to, which we'll cover later on. And I knew that I wanted a retention system, right, to secure the helmet that was adjustable on the fly. So these dial systems, you guys can see these bails in the back that you can increase tension or decrease tension, I think are critical for real world operations and for on the flat range, right? When you're wearing these helmets for a really long time, sometimes you want to just loosen them up a little bit and relieve a little of that pressure on your head. So a lot of times, if you guys are watching me, I'll be behind the line and I'll be playing with that dial, and I'll be loosening up that tension, just letting my brain breathe a little bit. And then when it comes time to like shoot a demo or something like that, I'll crank her down and have it be more sturdy on my head so I can shoot more effectively, right? So having that feature to be able to loosen up some of the tension on the fly is really nice, and then crank it down if you have to. Also, by having that dial, it allows me to add winter gear underneath my helmet pretty seamlessly, right? If it's cold out, I can have a winter hat on. I don't have to reset or readjust any of the straps, and it fits exactly how I want it to fit, which is kind of important when we're talking about having goggles in front of our head, right? Like, we want them in a specific spot. I want them to stay in that spot, and as I change layers on my head, I don't want that to be like a big process to have to get that to be right. So you know, I might start off with a hat because it's cold, and then it warms up, and, you know, then I want to take that off, right? So having that dial system is really nice. Most helmets will allow you to take the pads out of the helmet, and you can do aftermarket pads. There's tons of them out there. We talk a little more in depth about that. I'm not going to get into it, but I'm looking for a good soft pad that allows me to layer pads so I can get the exact height where I want this helmet to sit on my head. Looking for the helmet to have rails, like I mentioned. You could drill old helmets and put rails. I've done it before. Probably definitely ruins the integrity of the ballistic properties of it, but you know, it's one of those things you're going to have to look at when you're trying to outfit a helmet. Like, do you have the funds to do it? Do you have one of those old Mitch helmets and you're just trying to make it work with the best you can, and you're going to buy some rails and slap it on there, knowing that you'll probably ruin the integrity of that ballistic protection if you do drill it, which I don't know if that's correct or not, but it's possible, right? But yeah, these are things you're gonna have to weigh, right? So obviously I knew I didn't want to drill my helmet, and it really wouldn't matter anyway because this doesn't have any ballistic properties, but obviously a cleaner product that comes with it, right? So these came with rails, and that was good. Same thing with your shroud, right? So the shroud is this piece right here, right? So this is the way a shroud would come if your helmet didn't have one. This one is from Unity, right? So if you had a helmet that didn't have a shroud, you could drill the helmet and put these on there, right? Things like that. You could buy, say, if the helmet was already drilled. So if I wanted to switch this shroud out, this shroud is some type of polymer composite. If I wanted to switch to like an aluminum shroud or some type of metal shroud, because I felt like that was worth it, then you could switch out. The holes are already drilled in the helmet, and you could switch out different mounts or different shrouds, right? Some of these shrouds come with some pretty cool properties like built-in bungees and things like that. So depending on what you're looking for, you can switch that stuff out, right? This is just a pretty traditional 3 attachment point shroud that comes with this. It's polymer. I haven't had any issues with it, but I also don't really take off the mount, which is a Wilcox G24, right? I don't take this mount off ever. If the night vision's not on it, the mount literally stays on it. I just kick it up and put it in the stowed position. No issues. So the only really wear on this shroud would be me bringing it in and out and kind of, I guess, wearing away some of that plastic, right? But I don't really have that issue because I don't take my mount off. So with other things that we're looking for is bungee retention is kind of important, right? Obviously, we want to hang on to our nods. They're very expensive. Most of these helmets they come with built-in bungees, as you can see here. I opted to add an additional bungees, which I forget where I got these. These might be Unity too. And basically, I just undid the bolt, these screw underneath. And the reason why I did them is because they have these little hooks, right? So they give you a better securement on the night vision goggles. And in the course, we'll go over in much more depth of this kind of stuff. But I'm trying to keep this video a little bit short, so we won't dive too crazy into that. But there's a lot of different options, right? But those are some of the features that I'm looking for the helmet to have. Full on knowing that I can change these and adapt these if the helmet didn't have that, right? For the rail system, what I'm looking to do is mount different types of lighting on my goggles or on my helmet. And I run 2 different types of lights on my helmet. So I run an administrative light, just a small like little pencil light that has red, green. Thought that was blue, and I guess it's green. And then it has an IR feature that I never use. They're cheap. I think that one was like 50 or 60 bucks, right? And what I use that mainly for is just small administrative tasks where I just want to put a little bit of light onto the target, say mark my hits or whatever that is, right? On the other side, I run moving closer here. I run a Vampire Surefire light, right? So Vampire light, if you're not familiar with that, basically it gives you white light and it gives you IR light. Vampire light's okay, but it does nothing really well at all, right? It just does 2 things okay. It gives you an okay white light and it gives you an okay IR light. Main reason why I run this here, and specifically I run it on this Theorem, I don't even know, just a Theorem little bracket here that allows me to rotate this light up and down And mainly for when we're doing like night vision CQB, we dive a little deeper in this. But we talk about how to assist your night vision unit in zero lume or no lume environments, where obviously your night vision needs some type of artificial or natural light source to intensify, right? So, which is kind of why I have my helmet beacon on, which I'll get into that in a second. But basically, this allows me to be able to umbrella some IR light into the house that'll refract off the ceiling and kind of plume down and allow me to get some light or ambient light or artificial light off the IR to make the night vision goggles work better, to work in that environment. Also, by shooting it up and umbrelling it down, it doesn't blind my team, right? So a lot of night vision goggles have that IR setting in the goggles. So right there, if you pull out and rotate, this will put this, it'll put an IR illuminator on, and it'll shoot out, obviously, artificial light to assist your night vision goggles to work better. But as soon as you look at anybody, you're blinding them, right? So it's really not a viable option, at least in my opinion, to use that, right? So we're definitely working in, like, say, basements or inside structures there's no light. Night vision goggles, if they're not the best, can really struggle, right? So we have to have some way of adding that in. Now, obviously, I know we have our weapon lasers and things like that, right? That have illuminators on them and things like that we can use, right? But depending on the context of what I want to do or not do or whatever it is, I like having it. It doesn't really take up or add any weight to my helmet setup, and I like having the feature, whether I use it or not predominantly. It pretty much serves as administrative functions, not necessarily tactical application, right? But if there was an application where, say, and we're going down the rabbit hole on this, but let's just say we were doing real world operations and we had to stay dark, and this would be very unrealistic for stateside law enforcement, right? If you took a casualty and you had to work on that casualty and you had to stay dark and now you're working on that casualty under night vision, right? Like, we would want to flood that with as much IR light as we could so we could obviously assess and see what's going on the best we could. I could introduce that and still keep my hands working with that. Now that is like super, super dark hole of never ever going to happen. But I guess it could, right? But highly unlikely. Also, on my helmet, I run a TNVC Mohawk. I don't know if you guys can see that. That acts as a counterweight, but I don't really use it as a counterweight because since my goggles are pretty light, they don't need a counterweight, right? But I will store some batteries in there, not necessarily as a weight option, but just in case I make a mistake and I forget to bring batteries with me on a trip or something like that, or whatever it is. I know I always got a couple CR123s. The majority of my stuff runs off CR123s, so a lot of my comms, lasers, lights, optics run off CR123s. So with that, I kind of have a couple batteries that I know that I can always use for any of that stuff. Helmet beacon in the back, right? So helmet beacon kind of serves as what I was talking about with this light for me. I chose the IR only setting, right? So when I was looking at helmet beacons, a lot of them have, you can get IR, you can get, they'll have red, blue, whatever color you want. This is the Hellstar 5, I believe. It's the flatter one. Not that I have trouble with hitting the top of doorways, but I like the way it looked better. So I went with that, but what's also nice about this one is you could choose an all IR setting. And the reason why I chose that, because with the all IR setting, or all IR featured one, it has 3 different settings on it. That allowed me to adjust the IR brightness. So some of these IR beacons, when you turn them on, they can be really bright. Mainly because they're for helicopters and stuff above you to be able to pinpoint your location. And when you're in like outdoors or woodland operations, it doesn't really matter, right? You're not on top of each other. But as soon as you go inside a structure, that can be really distracting and blinding to your teammates, right? So like I said before, adding this is pretty much the number one way I like to add artificial light into a structure and not be distracting or blinding to my teammates, is to use this. I just click on my helmet beacon to the constant on, low setting. It kind of shoots off all the walls and refracts around and adds a really nice umbrella of IR ambient light around all of us, and kind of supports the whole team. Everyone kind of can click that on, and now we don't have to worry about running our illuminators or whatever that on our guns. The nods are going to operate really, really well with that in zero lume to no lume environments like basements and things like that. Just off that, and it's not distracting, like I said, which is key. So that's the model that I like for that. Hearing protection obviously is an important thing, right? Whether we're flat range or whatever. So I opt for fixed hearing protection. These are OpsCore amps with their arms. I actually removed the screw that came in there, and I put another bolt through, which is why it's not black. And I actually drilled through the helmet and put a nut on there. So I did actually have some issues with these popping off. So I just fixed it like that, and now it can't come off, right? So hearing protection, right? So whether you're running comms or whether you need comms or not, you are going to need hearing protection. So you don't necessarily have to mount them to the rails, right? You could, if you take your pads out of the helmet, you could run, probably depending on the size of the helmet, traditional hearing protection and just put the helmet over it. It'd be a little tight, but that could work and that'd be good, or get you through, right? While you're saving funds to get something a little better, or maybe that's just what you prefer, right? There are guys that prefer under helmet comms or hearing protection, because if you're on, say, a long operation and you want to take off your helmet, right, you don't lose your comms. So if I take off my helmet, I lose my comms, right? Where if they take off their helmet now and they still have, say, the under headband that's not the thick one, they still have their comms. They can hear what's going on, and then if it came time to do something, they just throw the helmet back on, right? Like I said, this helmet is not set up, even though my real setup is like this, but this is mainly for teaching classes, right? So I'm not too concerned about that. If I'm going to take off my helmet, I don't really need comms. I don't need comm capability at all, right? For teaching classes. Although these have it, it's not essential, right? So I chose to fix them to the rails there with these arms. And these arms are really good. These OpsCore amp ones, they're solid. They give you a good solid suction. A lot of the other ones that I used that I won't name in this, they'll just, any type of bumper like that, they blow off. If you move them around, you take them on and off, like if you're bending them in and out, they'll just blow out the rail. And it's just super annoying to get them put back on, right? These have been the best ones that I found. They are also the most expensive, but that's because they're the best. So whether you're going to do, you are going to need some type of hearing protection, like I said. So you can either do rail mounted hearing protection, you could do under the helmet hearing protection, or you can just go the cheapest way and you could put foamies in, right? Like that will get you through for a night vision course or training if you just have limited funds and you're just trying to make that work, right? You could easily just run foamies, or maybe a little better. Surefire makes some different ones that aren't horrible and they're cheap, that you can throw in your ear, throw on whatever bump helmet you bought, and you could be pretty good to go for classes, right? Obviously, we can go a lot deeper into all this stuff and why I did it, but these videos, I'm already at, as you can see, the timer, 26 minutes. So yeah, we're getting way too long. But if you guys got questions, you can DM me or you can put them in the comments and I'll answer them. But yeah, man, this is my setup. This is what I'm running for classes. Come on out to a class. We'll dive in deeper to all this kind of stuff and gear. We'll talk guns. We'll talk lasers. We'll talk light setups. Got some cool stuff coming here too. With this is pretty cool. Don't worry about that. We will talk about this setup. If you're at the November class in Ohio, I will have this mounted and ready to go. You will get to experience this. This is a pretty cool thing. I'm excited to play with it more. And we'll see. We'll talk switches, right? all different types of switches. So a lot of different stuff in classes that we cover. And you guys will be able to ask any questions you want and try all my gear out and whatever, right? To help make you make a more informed, educated decision. We also will cover a lot about night vision specs and how to select tubes and a whole bunch of different stuff. So you will leave that night vision course with a hearty education on all things night vision, and you'll be able to make more informed decisions, and then we'll also make you a better shooter, because that's what it's all about. So, like I said, any questions, put them in the bottom, DM me, hit up Rick, whatever you guys want to do. Hopefully I will see you guys soon at a Achilles night vision course.